In the summer of 2019, I embarked on my first solo cross-country road trip, spending 2 days driving between Lexington, Kentucky and Tucson, Arizona for away rotations during my 4th year of medical school. The journey was incredible, capped off by a rendezvous with some friends who showed me the beauty around Tucson. This is that story in photos. So during the 4th year of medical school, you have the option to do away rotations, which are essentially rotations at medical schools that are not the one you're attending. So I just completed one of these away rotations at the University of Kentucky, and the next Monday I'd be starting at the University of Arizona in Tucson. So I essentially had 2 days to drive across the country. I packed up all my belongings and then left Lexington, Kentucky. Drove on through St. Louis, and then that first day I ended up stopping in Springfield, Missouri. And it was at this point that I got on Hotwire, the Hotwire app, and thankfully was given a good hotel for the evening. And so I ended up staying at this University Plaza. Because at the time I was really paranoid about leaving thousands of dollars of my possessions in my Chevy Cruze overnight, I ended up bringing all of my most valuable possessions from the cab of the car into the hotel with me. And so after checking into the hotel, I have this tendency to not eat for long periods of time. I just forget. And so I went out for something quick, found a steak and shake, great burger, I think 2 cheeseburgers actually, ate those, went to bed. In the morning, because I had brought all of my valuable possessions from my car into the hotel with me, that meant that I had to repack all of these things and bring them out to the car. Had my first cup of coffee from the Keurig in the room, stopped at this little Starbucks franchise type thing in the hotel, packed all my stuff in the car, and then was on the road. Like the day before, I wasn't exactly sure how long I was going to drive. My intent starting out in the morning was to stop at Las Cruces in New Mexico, which would have put me at about 14 hours of driving for the day. But of course didn't have any hotel reservations, anything like that, so was just kind of going where the road took me, so to speak. As I passed the border of New Mexico, there was a really stark change in the scenery. I traded the kind of flat, grass-covered fields that I had been used to throughout my entire life, being born and raised in the Midwest, for these large, distant, rocky plateaus and wide-open spaces. At this time, I remember feeling kind of overwhelmed by what I was seeing. Again, I hadn't been to the Southwest ever, and so everything I was seeing was totally novel. It was totally new to me, and at the time, really pretty staggering. I was traveling in mid-July to the Southwest, which, just because of the heat, I wouldn't necessarily recommend. But nonetheless, this is monsoon season in the Southwest. And I didn't know about this before I had started out on this drive. But as I was driving through Albuquerque, I encountered my first monsoon. I could see it from probably 50 miles off as I was driving into the city, and then ended up driving right through it. And it was just another one of these grand moments of this drive that would end up kind of changing my life in some respects. Past Albuquerque, I continued south through New Mexico toward Las Cruces. And Las Cruces, again, was where I initially thought that I was going to stop for the night. But there was still plenty of light left in the sky. And so having gone through the effort of unpacking all of my belongings into the hotel the night before, that was kind of weighing on my mind. And so I decided to just bypass Las Cruces and decided to go ahead and just finish the drive tonight. And so I stopped in Truth or Consequences for my final gas stop of the day. And as the sun set, continued west on I-10 toward Tucson. I was staying with my friend who had actually matched at the University of Arizona the year before me, and he wasn't home. He was doing a night shift, and so I got into his house at about 2 a.m. He left a key under the mat, and then I walked in, unpacked all my important belongings, and had made it to Tucson. In the morning, I woke up super hungry. I didn't eat any dinner, so the last thing I had eaten was that Subway sandwich, probably 18 hours before. And I didn't know my way around the city just yet, and so I went for something reliable. Got 2 sausage McMuffins with egg, came back to the house, scarfed those down with a cup of coffee, and then we went on a drive around the city just to see the sights. After we had finished our little jaunt around town, we got back in the car and drove to visit 2 of our friends who had also matched at the University of Arizona the year prior. After hanging out and catching up, we went for a drive to see more of the sights around Tucson. The first stop was A Mountain, so named because it's got a conglomerate of rocks painted white in the shape of an A on it. From there, we had views over the entirety of Tucson. The sprawling city stretched in all directions to the east, west, north, and south. But what really dominated the view were the grand Santa Catalina Mountains that bordered Tucson to the north. We wouldn't have time to explore those mountains today, but soon, very soon. After taking in those views, we got back in the car and drove further west to Gates Pass. This area is a well-known sunset viewing spot on the western edge of Tucson. And so once we parked our car and got our backpacks, we set off for a short hike in the mountains to find the absolute best sunset viewing spot we could. Again, this was essentially my first day in Tucson, and so this sort of hiking was completely new to me. I was used to hiking on dirt and grass, surrounded by dense green trees, and so hiking on these rugged rocks was a new experience for me. With the traction from these solid rocks beneath our feet, we essentially headed straight up the side of this small mountain, and eventually got to the spot we were looking for. And it was from here that, looking to the west, I took in the most beautiful sunset I had ever seen.